Peace and blessings to everyone today. I got caught up in my work today and I learned a great deal in terms of currently what it is that I do. And so that's the reason why it's a little bit dark right now. But I said to myself that I am going to make a video a day for 365 days. And these videos are very helpful, hopefully, to those who may learn from them, but it's also helpful to me because I need to know, almost like a journal, except it's verbal, in terms of taking and accounting for my growth, because you never know how long that it will take for you to get where you're going. I wanted to thank God, the Most High, in terms of what I'm now currently being exposed to and what type of line of understanding that I'm positioning myself in. So I wanted to get to the literature because this is all about enlightenment and upliftment. And so I'd like to start off with this one book. For those of you all who are interested in something like this, it's called The International Encyclopedia of Secret Societies and Fraternal Orders. The author is named Axelrod, Axelrod. Now, my viewers might ask, why would something like this be interesting to me? The reason why data like this is very important to me is because I wanted to know how the world was truly ran. Excuse me. And I wanted to know who was really running things and what the real deal is, especially in reference to secret societies. This happened to be a piece of literature that I found very enlightening, that enlightened me on terms of what really is, in my particular case, a Mason, and why that information is important. Like, for example, the names and supposed antiquity of secret societies, women and secret societies, schisms and splinter groups, the different types of secret societies like social, benevolent, ethnic, trade, mystical or religious, political or criminal. Because I found that when people come together, they tend to be a stronger force. And that's important when you're in a situation and there's not a lot of people who look like you, and or even in your own family, there's not a lot of, how can I say, participation in rising above when it comes to everyone else. It also was important to me because I didn't really have a chance to join a fraternal organization and or group so I could belong and go through the different, not exactly hazing, but different things that you have to go through to belong to a group. So to me, at one time, that was very important. The other thing I wanted to speak about was a piece of literature here, which is called Moorish literature on the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, in reference to what's called the 1099 regarding religious organizations and how powerful that is. My position is to create a foundation, which indirectly I already have, but I just didn't know what levels to take it to in reference to how to find out who I truly was. So if you are in Baltimore, Maryland, there is an address, I believe it is 2530 North Calvert Street. The Grand Sheik there is Grand Sheik Joel Bratton Bey. If you want to know more about yourself and know what direction you're going and why you have to create your own trail, this information is extremely important. This other big book right here relates to data that corresponds with how to file for something called your UCC1 and your UCC3 financial statement regarding gaining greater control on something called your straw man. Now, the straw man is an aspect which is called the transmitting utility, which is a fiction that state, county, and federal governments attach to tax you. Now, I realize that a lot of this information is not in the mainstream, but that's not the point. The point is it's out there. And so my intentions is to just go ahead and do this because it's absolutely necessary, and it's on something called the private side. Many of us don't know that if you are a living man and or a living woman, and if you don't know how to conduct your private affairs, then your affairs from a status perspective are conducted from a public perspective. So it's gotten a little bit dark, but I said I was going to make these videos no matter what. And it's really the data that I'm sharing. Now, in the movie The Matrix, with Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus, which the name Morpheus is supposed to be the god of sleep. And in that movie, Morpheus, which was Larry Fishburne, he was supposed to be waking up Neo through either the red pill or the blue pill. My understanding is that if you take the blue pill, I believe it was, you go back to sleep. If you take the red pill, that means you wake up and you remain awake. But it is also true that certain people don't want to wake up, and they're comfortable with things as they are. My entire life, based on as far as I can think back, has been uncomfortable. So I had to wake up whether I wanted to wake up or not. And so at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, especially if you look like me, do you want to wake up? And even if you don't look like me, because these videos are really geared to either current convicts or ex-convicts, and try to remember what makes you a convict is not necessarily a metal bar. You can technically be free, but your mind has a chain around it, and you don't even know it. They say, the saying goes something like this: the people who think they're most free are the ones who are most enslaved. They're just in a larger prison. And then at the end of the day, the only thing that really frees you is your own mind, because you have to go within. But then sometimes it's very hard to do that if you don't have a path, especially if it's not going on in your own family. Like most people feel like once they get a large house, a new car, can go on vacations, have went to the very best schools, that they're free. But it's much more than that. And even though it's getting dark and I'm in Tucson, Arizona, I had made up my mind that I was going to share no matter how dark that it got and come out here. Because at the end of the day, I have to be true to my game. That means the game from within. And so since I'm true to that and certain things are happening, I feel really excited. I feel very excited because generally people at my age, they feel like they're done. In my case, it's like it's ongoing. And then I was placed in a position where God told me, you will know who I am. Peace and blessings. Love y'all.